know what I mean? You can put a label on a life, put a label on a lifestyle, you know? Put a label on how you wake up every morning and go to bed at night.
Hey, so today we're playing around with one of my new inventions, my press stands. These are a very simple tool that you can build, just materials from the hardware store. I've made these not out of pine, but they're made out of Douglas fir, which is a much more strong, durable wood. The screws, because there's a lot of rocking and shifting going around when you're using these things, are held in place by an epoxy that you get in a tube. You kind of squeeze it out, kind of like caulking, and it usually used for screws holding in concrete and stuff like that. But anyway, I put that on all the screw threads, so if you want to build a pair of these, you'll want to put those on as well. And the tops are just simple banister tops that you can find in the wooden department of your local hardware store. So without further ado, here are just a few of the exercises you can do on my press stands. Alright, so the first exercise that we got going on is our basic holds. There's lots of different holds, L holds that you can progress into. First, we want to make sure we get a good solid foundation on our shoulders. So we warm up with rounding the shoulders down and back. This engages the traps, the lats, the lower back, the triceps, the biceps, everything, to make sure that everything in the entire torso is completely turned on to give us stability when we're pushing downwards, also making sure that the elbows are pointing straight back, that they're not flaring out to the sides. From there, we can start the first seated progression where the toes are on the ground, but we're still pulling upwards with the knees so that the abs are fully engaged. Once again, the lats and the traps and everything are also turned on. This is really a full body exercise, not just for the abs. After that, picking up the feet, making sure that the knees are directly over the feet. The feet aren't crossed with the knees bowing out to the sides or anything like that, just like you're sitting in a chair. And of course, from there, progress with straighten out the legs. The more you straighten out your legs, the harder the movement will be. Moving on, we of course have our push-ups. You know, the press stands are great for push-up variations. A lot of times people will say, well, you can get lower down just like with push-up handles. It's kind of a bit of a myth. Most people don't get any lower, bigger range of motion with these or push-up handles than they would if you were doing it on the floor. Where the advantage is it takes stress off the wrist, fingers are off the edge there, so it's a little bit more comfortable, and you can get a bigger range of motion because your elbows can go back further because of that less stress on the wrist. You can move them a little bit closer in. You know, some people call these tricep push-ups. They're really just still regular good old-fashioned push-ups. They work the chest, the shoulders, and triceps just as much, only harder, but in equal amounts portionally. It's just a more difficult push-up variation. For the triceps, we got the tiger bends like this, kneeling on the ground. Elbows come down and close to the edge of the platforms on the press stands there. And then you extend upwards using your triceps to straighten out the arms. Moving yourself back a little bit further will make the exercise much more difficult. Keeping the chin, nose, or forehead coming in between your two hands. Bending at the wrists, you may have to fudge around with where your hands are on the stand to have them more comfortable on the wrists. Following up with some more push-up variations, we got the archer push-up. The stands are very stable, giving you the luxury of getting that elbow nice and tight so you can get as much weight over one hand as possible for a progressive push-up like so. The key, of course, is to make sure that as much relaxation is happening on the outrigging arm and as much tension is happening in the actual push-up arm. We also, of course, have various plank and push-up positions. You can do them with one leg up in each one. Trying to stabilize the body while picking up one limb can be quite the core challenge for the obliques and all the deep intra-abdominal muscles and tissues. One arm at a time is good as well. And of course, there can be just as much challenge in moving your body as it is trying to keep your body from moving. So when you've got one arm up or one leg up, just simply moving and shifting and twisting in as many ways as possible can give you more core challenge as well. Lever work, also exceptionally good on the stands. Palms are pointing forwards, fingers are pointing backwards, elbows are in your belly, not by your sides. Just work on getting the balance first. Balancing on those elbows, and then you can work on bringing your legs straight out behind you. Keep in mind you're going to have to shift your body forwards just a little bit, and then your legs can come a little bit closer together. Great chest and shoulder exercise. And then finally we have the back side of the body where we have a little bit of bridge work. The press stands give you a little bit more range of motion, a little less stress on the shoulder joint for these stiff-legged bridges that you can do, which are great for the hamstrings, glutes, and those spinal erectors. Do keep in mind though that there is going to be some pressure on your palms to try and pull them forward a little bit, so make sure you got a really good grip on those stands. Straight legs are harder than bent legs as well, and again, the hamstrings and the glutes are the primary lifters. The lower back is just kind of along for the ride. It's not necessarily the lower back exercise. Let me know if you have thoughts or questions down below. Till then, be fit, live free.